Okay, example 3, segment ST, which is right here, is tangent to circle R. Again, they're naming circle R, so R is the center. ST is tangent, and S lies on the circle, therefore S is the point of tangency. We can see by the picture that the tangent ST and the radius SR are perpendicular to one another, and their question is to figure out the value of X. Now, looking at this picture, the sides of this triangle, STR, are x 24 and x plus 18. Okay? And be cautious that when you have pieces like from here to here is x, and from here to here is the 18. So when you get those two segments put together, you're going to add those segment lengths to get the total length of that segment. So be cautious that you use good math there. So, of the three sides, x and 24 make the right angle. They're the legs. X plus 18 is the hypotenuse. So if I apply the Pythagorean Theorem here, once again, it's a right triangle. There's only one variable unknown, x, in the picture. So Pythagorean Theorem is usable to solve it. I'm going to get one leg squared plus the other leg squared is equal to the hypotenuse squared. Now, x squared, can't do anything to it. 24 squared is 576. Now, squaring a binomial, this is a commonplace thing that happens hundreds of thousands of times. Let's say hundreds and thousands, not hundreds of thousands. Anyway, it happens a lot in math, this binomial squared structure. You have the option of doing FOIL. Just bring it over x plus 18, do a bunch of FOIL over it. There is a shortcut to get the product to square this binomial. If you understand the shortcut, it saves you about 5 seconds. If you don't, then just go use FOIL. All right, the shortcut goes like this. You create three pieces. Piece number 1 is the first object squared. Piece number 3 is the second object squared. Okay, those two pieces are pretty straightforward, nothing to it for most people. The middle piece, the third piece, is the product of these two things doubled. Now, it's not really what's happening, but if you just look at everything in this picture, you just multiply everything you see together, this times this times this, 2 times 18, 36 times x positive 36x. That's not really why it happens, but that's just, you can actually, with your eyes, see all the stuff going into that. The sign matters. If this said minus 18, it'd be negative 36x. It's positive 18, so it's positive 36x. But again, it's just the product of these two numbers doubled. So 18x times 2. 18 times 18x times x. Again, if that makes sense, great. If not, FOIL works. With FOIL, I can show you why that happens. Let me just show you real quick. X plus 18 times x plus 18. This would have been something you would have learned in Algebra 1. Mrs. Black would have really hammered it down last year a lot. With COVID, obviously we didn't get as much practice. Maybe you don't remember that kind of stuff. So this would be a situation where I hopefully can fill in some gaps for you. But if I look at FOIL here, the f part of FOIL, x times x, is just that first thing squared. That's this one here. So that's the f part of FOIL. All right. And last times last, 18 times 18 makes it 324. That's the last part of FOIL. So this middle term comes from the outside and inside products. Notice the outside product is 18 times x, positive 18x. The inside product is positive 18x. Notice we multiplied the two numbers 18 and x together twice, right? So 18x twice made that middle term. That's the outside and inside OI part of FOIL. So you're just kind of doing FOIL in your head with this, but that's kind of how it works. And again, this binomial squared structure happens a ton, like all the time. All right, and sometimes we go from this form back here, like when we did completing the square, we went down to this structure, right? But going to this structure here happens pretty frequently. So it's nice to know the little shortcut. Again, if not, FOIL works. FOIL will never fail you, so keep that in mind. All right, once I've done FOIL, I've simplified everything as much as possible. Now my task is to solve for x. And you notice a couple x squareds in this, which could be a problem, but x squared on this side, x squared on that side, if I move this over here, notice they just cancel. as a general rule on an equation, if you have the exact same object, same sign, same everything on both sides of the equation, you can just strike them out. They don't happen to matter anymore. So that gets me down to 576 all by itself on the left-hand side is equal to 36x plus 324 on the right-hand side. That's just a basic algebra 1 equation. I want to get x equals, I'm going to move the 324 to the left. 6 minus 4 is 2, 7 minus 2 is 5, 5 minus 3 is 2, 252 equals 36x, by both sides by 36. Grab our calculator. 252 divided by 36 is 7. X equals 7. What is the radius of R? The radius of circle R is x, and x equals 7. So the radius equals 7. All right, so in general, properties of tangents, right angles happen, so Pythagorean theorems happen a whole bunch in this process. We quite often have a piece inside, a piece outside, so we get this binomial structure, so a binomial squared is going to be a pretty frequent occurrence in this section as well. So those are the types of things you want to practice, get good at as we continue on chapter 10.